Hello, my name is Tony, and today I'm doing a special interview with a person who is very intelligent, and she is my cousin Alexis. Hi, Alexis.
Hi, Tony.
From what I understand, you went to Rosie Mound Natural Area to study succession.
Yes, I did, and it was a wonderful experience.
So tell me, what exactly is succession?
Succession is a regularly replacement of species over in a certain area over a long period of time.
Okay, now I know what succession is. Tell me, do you see any examples of succession when you were at Mossy Mound?
Yes, I did. For example, when the animals in the forty, when they go to the bathroom, their feces and their urine act as a fertilizer, making the soil more fertile, allowing more plants to grow. As the vegetation becomes more dense, you start to see more animals that you didn't see before in the forested area.
That's really interesting, Alexis. Whenever I go to the beach, all we do is stay on the beach. I've seen grass and stuff, and I kind of see some more plants, but are they technically stages at the beach that I've never noticed before?
Well, when you go to the beach, you don't actually go to the beach. There's the beach, the foredune, the trough, and the forested dune. From the beach to the foredune, you're basically seeing nothing but sand, and little insects here and there, and a few birds flying about. There's no trees on the beach, and there's lots of water. It's basically like a big open area. As you move farther back into the foredune area, you see what is called mayrum grass. Mayrum grass is the grass that you see dye in the back of the beach or the foredune. It's the main role to help keep the sand in place in the dune. It's like to stabilize it. From the dune to the beach, or from the dune to the trough, you begin to see a lot more vegetation. The sand that was once at the beach, you now see as more soily version that can support more life. There are more trees and tiny shrubs, and you begin to see small mammals here and there, as well as more insects. From the trough to the forested area, you begin to see a lot more trees, and the sand is the kind of sand that you see in forests. Grasses, trees, bushes, they grow plentiful in the forested dune. The place is more secluded, and there's a lot more shade for different kinds of plant growth. And it's different from what you would see on the beach.
Any pictures?
Of course I took pictures. I have some pictures and some sketches I drew while at Rosie Mound. The sketches show an area of a trough I was in, and you can see that it's on a slight angle, and there are many trees and vegetation in this area. The other picture I have is of the beach and part of the foredune, and you can see many of the mayrum.
Really fun interviewing you, Alexis, but I think Felicia has some questions for you. The trip was fascinating.
Of course it was.
I'm curious, the dunes are surrounded by the Great Lakes, so how and why are the dunes affected by them?
It's pretty simple, actually. Gravity is making the waves move and stuff. We all know that. But the water comes up to the edges of the dunes, and it takes some sand away, and it creates dips in the dunes. The dunes are affected by them because the water takes more of the dune sand, and the dunes get smaller, and eventually the amount of vegetation that the dune can support is decreased.
That's interesting. If sand is such an important factor in the dunes, what is Lake Michigan sand made of?
Lake Michigan sand is made up of a majority of magnetite and granite.
Okay, and what 3 things do you need to make a sand dune?
To make a sand, you needed water, wind, and vegetation.
Sounds very important. I always see it. Is there any major characteristics about it that tie in how important it is?
It has some pretty interesting characteristics. First, it has adapted to be able to live in the beach and root into the sand in the first place. They have waxy leaves that prevent water loss in the event they don't get much water. Also, they have long roots that really dig down into the sand to keep hold of it. Mayrum grass has long blades to protect the sand under it, and its root is a single root that shoots up horizontally to keep it stabilized against shifting sand. Not to mention that its leaves also close up in warm weather in order to maintain moisture as one of their water sources.
I had a lot of fun on this trip, but I think I have to go feed the dogs right now, so I think Rissy has to ask you some more questions,
I heard you talking to Felicia about the mayrum grass on the beach. Is there any other animals on the beach? And what other parts of the beach, like the foredune, trough, and forest?
There is a ton of animals in the beach. And while you're in the beach, there's not many animals. Occasionally there will be some birds flying around, such as seagulls. In the foredune, there's eastern hognose snakes. In the trough, there's gray squirrels. And in the forest, there's red foxes.
What animals live on the beach that I never knew of? What kind of adaptations do they require to survive in this kind of environment?
Well, some adaptations that the animals living on the beach need is webbed feet for if they're swimming in the water to hunt for their prey. And also some of the animals on the beach, they need to do their burrowing, and they do it fast, otherwise the sand will just keep on caving in. And also they need to have the ability to be able to live in warmer temperatures than other places because they need to be able to deal with the type of climate, wet and humid, and be able to survive on other plants. And they need to be able to deal with the small amount of food that they do find. And there's a spider, it's called a wolf spider, and it buries itself in the ground to escape winds. Some animals do that as well.
Sound quite interesting, but what about the plants? Can you describe them for me?
Well, as you know, the main plant is mayhem grass, and mayhem grass has deep roots that easily will trap and stabilize the sand in the dunes. They also have long blades, and they're slightly waxy to repel unwanted or unneeded water. Another part is the sand cherry, which is a plant that has smooth leaves and alternative small brown buds. Their leaves are dark silvery green color, and they bloom white flowers. Also, there's a plant called the oak tree. The oak trees have made themselves comfortable in the forested dune area as well. Oak trees are very tall, 30 to 70 feet, and they produce acorns. Their leaves are smooth and usually lobed. Another plant is called the beech tree, which is a tree ranging from 60 to 80 feet tall, with leaves that have sharp edges and are very stiff. Also, there's a plant called a sand cherry tree, and the sand cherry tree ranges from about 6 to 30 feet, and they produce fruit that have smooth skin and have deep red color. Also, the tree has leaves and they have toothed edges. Another plant is poison ivy, and poison ivy has fuzzy, dark leaves. Also, its leaves have ragged edges. A different plant is pitcher thistle, and they have white flowers and a height of 3.5 feet. One plant is a creeping juniper, whose leaves can be needled or cone-shaped, and it has a curved stem.
I never knew how interesting the beach could be. Why exactly are the dunes important?
The dunes are important because they provide a source for recreational activities such as water skiing, boating, and fishing and swimming. And they provide a habitat for the organisms that we eat, such as fish. And it's a big tourist attraction, and it helps us look into the past and figure out why and how the dunes are made. And it is a great water source.
I have one more question. Well, I gotta go anyways.
Animals and plants are changing dunes over time, right?
Yeah.
So what are some ways that we humans are trying to protect the dunes so maybe I can bring my kids there in the future?
2 ways we're trying to protect the dunes are we're trying to not pollute it, and we are trying to protect the species found in there.
Thanks for answering my question. Let's go to my soccer practice now.
Yo, VIP. Let's kick it. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. All right, stop.